Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, for a minute you saw a blank screen. I'm sorry, that was me trying to get in the room and I couldn't get it myself, but alhamdulillah, managed it finally. Allahu Akbar. Brothers and sisters, welcome to Abdullah Quilliam Masjid's digital Ramadan experience. 27th night of Ramadan is coming up to us, inshallah, within the hour, and we hope and pray that you're doing well. And you know what, brothers and sisters, could be nothing better than achieving the blessed month of Ramadan's best of the blessings, which will be the night of power if we catch it. Remember, it's the 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, and the 29th. All of those nights we should be looking for Laylatul Qadr. The nights of power are not, night of power should not be confined to one night of looking. We should be looking for the last 5 nights, inshallah, for the last 10 days of Ramadan. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr, wa ma adraka ma laylatul qadr. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. Laylatul Qadr means night of power. Allah says, what is night of power? What will explain to you what is night of power? Night of power is better than 1,000 months. Some people don't understand the concept of better than 1,000 months in one night. Wallahi, my brothers and sisters, that's what Allah says. If Laylatul Qadr is on the 27th night of Ramadan and you're seeking for it, then you will be getting the reward for praying for more than, worshipping for more than, donating for more than, fasting for more than, doing good work for more than 1,000 months. Allahu Akbar. What an opportunity, my brothers and sisters. Why would you miss that opportunity? Why would you miss that opportunity? I wouldn't. I would say to you, please take the opportunity and make the best of it. For there is no such opportunity that may return to our life ever again. It may never do, brothers and sisters. It may be the last of them, because we may not be alive until next Ramadan. It may be that we don't survive for next Ramadan. We have lost so many loved ones. Wallahi, I have had so many sad news of friends that I knew, friends' parents that I knew, colleagues that I knew, people who have passed away from COVID-19. May Allah bless them. May Allah have mercy on their soul, and may Allah accept their death as the highest of death. And may Allah accept their death as death of shahada, death of the martyrs. May Allah grant them the highest of paradise. We should all say Ameen. Wherever you are, please say Ameen. Please say Ameen. The dua of Laylatul Qadr, the last 10 nights of Ramadan's dua. Aisha radiallahu anha asked, Ya Rasulullah, which dua is the best dua for Laylatul Qadr? Rasul said, the best dua for Laylatul Qadr is to say, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Oh Allah, you are the effacer. You love effacing. Please efface all the sins. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Oh Allah, you love effacing. You are the effacer. Please efface all my sins wherever I am. Please efface all my sins. Effacing, my brothers and sisters, is like rubbing it off, completely rub it off. There should be no signs, no residues, nothing left on my record of any bad deeds that I've done. Ya Allah, you're the effacer. Please efface my sins. That's what you're asking for. My brothers and sisters, in other words, on the Day of Judgment, when all our deeds are laid open like a scroll for people to see, they will see all the good deeds and bad deeds, unless, of course, bad deeds have been deleted completely. And if they are not deleted, even if Allah has forgiven them, there'll be marks across those records, but people will know we've done something wrong. May Allah forgive us. May Allah enable us to gain the best of Ramadan, especially the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Say it with me wherever you are, please. Say this with me. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni, for me, and anna for all of us. So say that. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. You can say Ameen. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Please say Ameen wherever you are. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. I'll keep on saying this again and again. And please say Ameen if you're hearing me. And if you can't hear me, and if you can recite, would be wonderful. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Please keep on repeating it as many times as you like. In your prayers, outside your prayers. As you're walking, as you're cycling. As you're at work. When you're cooking, when you're talking to your children, when you're meeting your friends. I hope you're not. But if you're speaking to them on the phone, keep reminding each other, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. I'm going to say this until I'm blue on my face, because it is the best dua of all the duas. Oh Allah, you're the eraser. You love erasing, like on a piece of cloth, you erase all the residue. Ya Allah, you're the eraser. Please erase all the signs and residues of my sins from my record. That's what you're asking Allah to do. Let's ask Shaykh Wadah to begin our program with our dua that we began. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Today, if you are entering the night of power, please do not forget, do not miss this opportunity. Do not miss this opportunity. And if you have just joined us, we'll be entering a competition tonight to win $20,000 on behalf of AQS, Abdullah Quilliam Mosque. All you have to do is donate after midnight. After midnight, donate. Go on the launchgood.com/fast mosque and donate, even if it's £1. Donate £1 and get 10 more people to do the same. Donate and get £1 donated and get 10 friends of your families to do the same. Let's invite Shaykh Wadah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Shaykh Wadah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Masroor.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. How are you? Nice to see your face, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. Where are you today?
I'm in one of the mosques. I had to leave mashallah, the studio that they've made inside the mosque itself. And I went into this is one of the side rooms, if you're having a look. There's many rooms, subhanallah, to the side of the rooms. So that's the main thing about the Abdullah Quilliam project, that there are so many rooms within the mosques. Like if you've got anything like within the community that you want to do, it's easy to just come to us and speak to us about it, and we'll see what the idea is and see if we can help. It's basically working together, all of us as a community, to complete each other. That's what Muslims do. They complete each other.
Jazakallah khair, my brother. Which surah are you going to recite today?
I'll read from Surah Al-Hashr, inshallah, from Ayah 10, the end bit, inshallah.
Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر إلى الذين نافقوا يقولون لإخوانهم الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب لئن أخرجتم لنخرجن معكم ولا نطيع فيكم أحدا أبدا وإن قتلتم لننصرنكم والله يشهد إنهم لكاذبون. لئن أخرجوا لا يخرجون معهم ولئن قوتلوا لا ينصرونهم ولئن نصروهم ليولن الأدبار ثم لا ينصرون. لأنتم أشد رهبة في صدورهم من الله ذلك بأنهم قوم لا يفقهون. لا يقاتلونكم جميعا إلا في قرى محصنة أو من وراء جدر بأسهم بينهم شديد تحسبهم جميعا وقلوبهم شتى ذلك بأنهم قوم لا يعقلون. كمثل الذين من قبلهم قريبا ذاقوا وبال أمرهم ولهم عذاب أليم. كمثل الشيطان إذ قال للإنسان اكفر فلما كفر قال إني بريء منك إني أخاف الله رب العالمين. فكان عاقبتهما أنهما في النار خالدين فيها وذلك جزاء الظالمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Wonderful. Well done, Shaykh Waddah. Well done. What a beautiful recitation. You have all of us on our seats listening to it intently, MashaAllah. Tell me, how was your talent show today?
Alhamdulillah, we've had a bit of mix of talent show. We've had different guests on, so it was quite like we couldn't get most of the talents in at the moment. But Alhamdulillah, we had the barakah of Sheikh Harun, we had the different Sheikh Zubair, inshallah, Imam Zubair, who came. But they both joined in within the talent show, so they both got calls. Alhamdulillah, and they were so impressed by the youngsters, the children, mashallah, that were calling, and how beautiful it was just to hear the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from our own youngsters, our own nieces and nephews, alhamdulillah.
What a wonderful thing to do. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. You read from Surah Hashr today?
Yeah, from Ayah 10, inshallah.
I'm trying to find it in my desperation in the search. Give me 1 minute to find it. Surah Al-Hashr is, what surah number is that again? Oh yes, 59. I found it, mashallah. I found it. I need my glasses, Sheikh. I'm not wearing my glasses and I'm looking at the wrong place. La ilaha illallah. You know, when you get old like me, you need your glasses. So Surah Hashr is here. And which verse did you begin?
From verse 10, number 10. Alam tara ila alladhina.
Alam tara ila alladhina. Let me just get to the translation before I let you go. You are a precious person for us. We can't let you go so quickly. Thank you very much. Allah bless you. Thank you, brother. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Take care.
Inshallah, definitely, inshallah.
Salam. Sheikh Waddah there, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of people have said salam from Leeds, from London, from many places. Wa alaikum assalam, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to our program. Stay with us. We're going to be broadcasting live for an hour for now until 8 o'clock. The recitation that my dear brother Waddah did from Surah Al-Hashr, the meaning of these verses are as follows. Are you not aware of how those who would always dissemble their feelings speak to their truth-denying brethren from amongst the followers of earlier revelation? If you're driven away, we shall most certainly go forth with you, and shall never pay heed to anyone against you. And if war is waged against you, we shall most certainly come to your help. But Allah bears witness that they are most flagrantly lying. For if those to whom they have pledged themselves are indeed driven away, they will not go forth with them. And if a war is waged against them, they will not come to their help. And even if they try to help them, they will most certainly turn their backs, and in the end will themselves find no help. No, O believers, you arouse in their bosoms a fear for more intense than even their fear of God. This because they are people who fail to grasp the truth. Never will they fight you, even in unison, otherwise than from within fortified strongholds or from behind walls. Severe is their warlike discord among themselves. You would think that they are united, whereas in fact their hearts are at odds with one another. This because there are people who will not use their reason. To both kinds of your enemies, O believers, is bound to happen. The like of that happening to those who a short while before them had to taste the evil that came from their own doing, with yet more grievous suffering awaiting them in the life to come. The like of that, what happens when Shaitan says unto man, deny the truth. But as soon as man has denied the truth, Shaitan says, behold, I am not responsible for you. Behold, I fear God and sustainer of all the worlds. Thus, in the end, both the deniers of the truth and the hypocrites will find themselves in the fire, therein to abide for such the recompense of the evildoer. O you who have attained to faith, remain conscious of Allah, and let every human being look to what he sends ahead of for tomorrow. And once again, remain conscious of Allah, for Allah is aware of all that you do. And be not like those who are oblivious of God, and whom He therefore causes to be oblivious of what is good for their own. And it is they who are truly depraved. Not equal are those who are destined for the fire and who are destined for the paradise. Those who are destined for paradise, it is they who alone who shall triumph on the day of judgment. Had we bestowed this Quran on the mountains, you would have seen indeed it humbling itself, breaking asunder for awe of God. And all such parables we propound unto man, so that they might think. God is he who, save there is no deity, the one who knows all that is beyond the reach of created beings' perception, as well as all that can be witnessed by a creature's sense of mind. He, the most gracious, the dispenser of grace. God is he whom there is no deity, sovereign, the holy, the one whom all salvation rests, the giver of faith, the one who determines what is true and what is false, the Almighty, the one who subdues wrong and restores right, the one to whom all greatness belongs. Utterly remote is God in his limitless glory from anything to which man may ascribe a share in his divinity. He is God the Creator, the Maker, who shapes all forms and appearances. His alone are the attributes of perfection. All that is in the heavens and on earth extol the limitless glory, for he alone is mighty, truly wise. Ladies and gentlemen, Surah Al-Hashr, last verses from verses 10 all the way until the end. I hope you have enjoyed some of the Quranic recitations we have presented to you with our mistakes and our follies. Mistakes are ours. Perfection belongs to Allah. Brothers and sisters, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Oh Allah, you're the effacer, you love effacing, please efface all our sins. That's the dua for today. That's the dua for the last 10 days of Ramadan. All the time we must say, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Don't forget. Let me invite my dear brother Yahya Bhat, who has been waiting eagerly and listening to me reading the translation. He's here. Assalamu alaikum, brother Yahya.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah. How was your walk the other day?
It was a bit chilly, but it was wonderful.
You should go out today. It's very hot.
Not up here, it isn't. I've been out today. I've been out today already.
It's about 25 degrees here.
It's chilly up here. It's chilly up here.
I'm so sorry. Come back to the south.
No, it's fine. Alhamdulillah, it's fine. I just put a fleece on. I'm fine. I don't mind going out when it's chilly. You just have to wear the right clothes.
I'd say you come over here. Don't waste your time over there.
It's beautiful up here, man. Why would I come down to you in the smog?
I'm disappointed to hear that. I'm very disappointed to hear that. Alhamdulillah. And what did you have for iftar yesterday?
Oh gosh, I can't even remember now. It was so long ago.
24 hours is so long, isn't it? Subhanallah, in the psyche of man.
Remember. This Ramadan has just been like a blur for me, I have to say. So all the days have merged into one, you know. So.
Somebody called Abu Jafar Muhammad says, welcome, Sheikh Yahya. We say welcome to you too, inshallah. Abu Jafar is one of our regular viewers, mashallah. He has been following us wherever we are going. He's going there, alhamdulillah. Now, what poem you got ready for us? Nearly 27th night of Ramadan. It's going to be absolutely jam-packed day, evening, I know. But what do you want to? What poem have you got? Poems, maybe. What would you like?
Now, I've got two. One is very, very short. It's just 4 lines, and one is longer. And so I'll just read them. They were published in 1916, so they're from the Sheikh's more mature works. And
we'd like to hear the first one first and then the second one after, but let's get the first one from you.
Okay, the first one is called Advice, Nasihat. If thou wouldst fight, curse Shaitan well, and all his trusty imps, gamesters, usurers, courtesans, and all their filthy pimps, stand fast to faith, perform thy work, and to thyself be true, and leave to curs and wastrels thou the devil and his crew.
Wow, nice. Say that again. Read that again. I'm sorry. I'm going to get you to read it again.
If thou wouldst fight, curse Shaitan well, and all his trusty imps, gamesters, usurers, courtesans, and all their filthy pimps, stand fast to faith, perform thy work, and to thyself be true, and leave to curs and wastrels thou the devil and his crew.
Wow, I like that. What do you make of that? What sentiment did he have when he was expressing that?
Well, I always tend towards more autobiographical kind of interpretations of the poems. So I think it's significant that he's put courtesans in there. You know, he visited Abdul Hamid's Caliph Abdul Hamid's court 4 or 5 times. So this is the only context in which I think he would have encountered courtesans. Maybe he felt let down by some of them. I don't know. Abdul Hamid always kept his trust in the Sheikh. But we now know that some of the Ottoman officials wrote against Quilliam and his community when they wrote back to Istanbul. They didn't understand his approach to dawah, and they thought that he was diluting the faith. But he also had supporters amongst the Ottoman officials. But basically, the truth is that, as far as we can tell, Abdul Hamid never lost his faith in the Sheikh and supported him from beginning till end. We have evidence reading between the lines to that, because even though he had his critics amongst the Ottoman officials who were in Liverpool, a couple of them were unsympathetic. The fact is that Sheikh Abdul Hamid gave him a very important mission in 1905, which was to look into unrest in the Balkans. And he sent with Sheikh Abdullah, he sent his own secretary. So this was a very serious mission. He was sent with a military detachment and so on. So I don't think you give these kinds of missions to somebody you don't trust and respect and think is competent. So, you know, the Caliph trusted him. And
that's a good thing, isn't it? Having Sultan on your side always helps. Let's hear your next poem. I'm eagerly.
Okay, the next poem is a very spiritual one. It's appropriate for the 27th night. It's called Ecstasy. O learned men and wise, give ear unto my strain, and I will thee apprise how peace thou canst attain. Thy knowledge and thy skill alone is all in vain. Only by Allah's will canst thou perfection gain. Thou canst not buy with gold, nor rubies of the best, that which is never sold, north, south, nor east, nor west. In caves for it ne'er seek, nor on the mountain crest. Within thy heart when meek, there make thy patient quest. 'Tis not the proud of heart that Allah wise doth choose, but he who doth his part and ever Allah woos, who chants the sacred name and doth upon it muse, who paradise to gain his very self doth lose. To such doth Allah come and dwelleth and doth with him abide. His vices doth benumb and dwelleth by his side. Close as the vein to heart, yet as creation wide. Mercy and love impart, whatever may betide. To me of gold ne'er talk, of rubies never sing. To you I will not hark of any earthly thing. My kula I prefer to crown of any king. My zikr and my prayer doth peace unto me bring. From Salsabil I drink, 'tis sweeter far than wine. For me do sweet birds sing, for me the sun doth shine. For me doth Kafur flow, and Zanjabil is mine. For Allah is in me, and Allah I am thine.
I'm speechless. I'm truly speechless just listening to every word of what you've just said. I wish we had more time to unpack each and every one of those poems and look at his sentiment, what drove him to write what he did, how he was thinking perhaps, and get to know him a bit more. It would have been an amazing thing, inshallah, one day. One day we'll get the time. But
it's a very deep poem, this one, and very spiritual, and, you know, full of thankfulness to God, and full of heart, you know. As I said, I think these poems are his inmost heart, you know. We see his spirit in these poems. So
he's a great thinker, great scholar. No wonder he achieved so much, mashallah, in such a short space of time. His life and his work and so much impact is unbelievable. One question I have for you: do we know much about his later life when he left Liverpool? Where did he move?
No, that's what I've been working on for the past 2 to 3 years, because it was something that Ron Skeeves sort of only devoted about a chapter to in his book. So yeah. I've been working on it slowly in between doing other things. So I hope I can answer your question more fully in due course, you know. The poetry that I've uncovered is an aspect of this work. So hopefully those last 25 years or so after Liverpool will become clearer.
Inshallah, one day. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. What's your plan for this evening? Anything exciting?
Just the usual prayers and too much food at Maghrib, that's all.
Are you cooking today, or is your wife cooking?
We haven't decided yet. So
you know, I can put my hand up and say I've not cooked a single meal in the whole month of Ramadan, and I'm embarrassed about it.
Are you a cook? Do you like the kitchen?
I love cooking.
To be honest, I could tell you're a cook. I can just tell.
Alhamdulillah. You know, because of my program, my wife has been so generous and said, don't need to worry about food. There'll be iftar every day. You just do your program. And I've been doing it for 30 days. Obviously, every day I've been doing 2 programs for the last 30 days. So I didn't have the time.
It's Mujahida, mashallah. It's Mujahida. May Allah bless you and accept
She's,
your effort.
she's listening to our conversation. May Allah bless her, give her long life, inshallah. We're going to invite her in. Maybe she can say salam to you. Is Henrietta, are you ready? I think she is. There you are. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you, brother?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. I've been hearing your praise from your husband.
About my food or about my reminders? Depends.
About your service, I think. Your may Allah accept, inshallah.
Thank you.
Okay, inshallah.
Jazakallah. See you soon, inshallah, Yahya. See you on in 2 days' time, on the 29th of Ramadan. You're on.
All right. Take care, inshallah. Salam
Look after yourself. Walaikum salam.
Eid point.
Walaikum salam.
Jazakallah khair, brother Yahya there. Thank you. Henrietta, are you all right?
I am okay. Alhamdulillah. How are you? I haven't seen you today much.
Busy. Alhamdulillah. How is it going with everything?
Everything is going fine. And we are having a very exciting iftar today, I think, because we are having Palestinian lentil soup with Bengali chickpeas and Lebanese chicken kebabs and salad.
Wow. Sounds
our iftar today. Oh, and I also made sweet and sour tofu for my daughter and myself, because it's two of us who like this kind of healthy Chinese style of cooking. So I made a little bit of I had a packet of tofu which I found in the shop, and no one else except my daughter and I eat tofu. So I browned it really nicely in some toasted sesame oil. And then I made a very lovely sweet and sour sauce, which is homemade. So obviously I didn't buy it. And I made it with greens and a lovely egg noodle. So yeah, that's what I was going to have.
Good. And do you want to show us some pictures of your food today, or is not ready yet?
Not ready, because the chickpeas are ready, but it's cold, so it doesn't look very exciting at the moment. So I will be warming up a bit later, because we are breaking fast almost at 9 o'clock now. So an hour after we finish the talk. So I'd rather not warm up the food before. Then I have to do it again. So it's not ready yet. Well, it's ready, but it's in the fridge. It's it's in the pan, and I'm just cooking the Lebanese chicken. Very soon I'm gonna just pop them into the oven, covered, and then uncover it to kind of get them properly.
Good. Sarah Boniface says, "Salam, sister. Lentil soup is my favorite." Well, Sarah Boniface, you can come over for iftar, wherever you are.
I know. Salam, Sarah. It's one of our favorites as well, and it's very simple because. There are a couple of versions of it. There's a Turkish version which is with tomatoes, but to be honest, I prefer the Palestinian because it's so pure. It has a bit of cumin in it, onions, lemon juice, and garlic with salt. So it's really, really light, really easy on the stomach, and it's just delicious, and it's so filling after fasting. It's really good for the soul. It's really good for the stomach. You don't need to eat a lot after that. It really gives you all the energy that you need after a whole day of fasting. So yeah, I agree. Lentil soup is amazing. And it's very versatile because almost every culture cooks it. So the Turkish version with heavy tomatoes and tomato sauce, tomato puree, and some other spices they put into it, and people make it with all sorts of different ways. I don't know why my phone keeps dying on me. So yeah, it's a lovely addition.
I've realized I prefer the Palestinian version, much lighter. The Turkish one is too heavy for me, and it gives me a lot of I become very thirsty afterwards. So I prefer the Palestinian one. I've always thought I didn't realize to the extent, but I do now know. So you've got chickpeas, Palestinian soup, you've got
Lebanese chicken kebab, Lebanese chicken kebab, sweet and sour tofu, and salad. And I don't know about the fruit because I can't see any fruit at the moment. So we probably just have a bit of leftover pieces of fruit. I've got mangoes, but they are not ready. But I've got pomegranate.
I actually have an idea. I think when I finish my show, I may make some mango. These are green mangoes. So I'm going to add some salt, some coriander, one of those very Bangladeshi traditional green mango type. Do you use vegetables or lentils or just plain lentils? Somebody asked. Just curious. Abu Zafar is interested. No,
I am only. The Palestinian is only with lentils, and what you do is you just fry the onions, and you also fry the lentils. Once you've washed it, you have to fry it a little bit because it gives a nutty flavor to the lentil itself. And just gives a bit of extra. And then you cook the lentils with a bit of vegetable stock, or if you have homemade chicken stock, you can do that too. You cook it until it's completely soft and cooked, and then towards the end you add a little bit of cumin and a little bit of I added a bit of turmeric and cumin and a few pieces of garlic. And then at the end, you can just mash it with a blender and lemon juice to serve and parsley on top. It's lovely. Really, really simple.
I think a lot of people are going to make this soup. It'll probably take about 20 minutes for them, inshallah. May Allah bless you all. Henrietta, now we're interested in your brain. Let's hear what you have got to say.
Well, actually, it was quite magical because Brother Yahya was talking about he was reading a very spiritual poem, and I actually picked a description before he came online about the title of Imam Ghazali's book is "In what does your happiness lie, and in what does your misery lie?" And I think if there's any other time that we can ask this question is this. It's Ramadan, it's lockdown, we are desperate. And yesterday I was actually feeling that I was fighting with two swords. One was the Ramadan sword and the other one was the lockdown sword. And both of them have very different impact on us. So I think I felt a little bit like Khalid ibn Walid because he's the one who was known for fighting with two swords. So I picked this quote, description in the book of The Alchemy of Happiness because it's really quite telling. So let me read this first for you. Whoever has understood the true nature of the human soul and what the manner of its connection to the body is, its relationship to the divine presence, and what the cause of the veil between it and the divine presence is, one does not doubt that sin is the cause of the veil and repentance is the cause of acceptance. For the human soul, in its origin, a pure essence of the angels. It is like a mirror in which the divine presence shows itself, when upon departure from this world, the soul has not been tarnished. With every sin one commits, a darkness is deposited upon the mirror of the soul, and with every act of devotion, a light attaches itself to it, and it drives off that darkness from the soul. The effects of the light of devotion and the darkness of sins are continually following one another in the mirror. When the darkness has become great and one has repented, the light of devotion routs the darkness. The soul returns to its clarity and purity. However, if one is so stubborn in one's sinning that the tarnish has reached the essence of the soul and penetrated it deeply, it will not be receptive to treatment anymore. It is like the mirror that has been corroded by tarnish. Such a soul is itself unable to repent, except by uselessly uttering with the tongue, "I have repented." And I tell you why I really, really like this is, first of all, it shows human nature that we are going to be fluctuating between sinning and committing great deeds to cleanse our soul. And what he's saying is not stick only with the good, but he's recognizing that the animal soul, that what we talked about for the last couple of days, the animal soul is always going to be drawn to doing wrong, committing sins. It's our cognitive facility that can help us to overcome those difficulties. So this constant fluctuation is what's the reality. Now, also Imam Ghazali highlights something very interesting for us, is that the more you spend on being good and acting good and correcting yourself and polishing yourself, the more light is going to be filling your life. And the more time you spend with sinning and not being sincere with your repentance, because that's another thing, we can say it with words. I admit that I committed a sin and I repent. But if it doesn't, again, come from the heart, it doesn't reach that level of our heart where we sincerely mean it, and that's where the place of darkness can be eroded from our heart. So I found it incredibly encouraging, very real. That's the one thing I love about Imam Ghazali's work, is that it's so real because he has experienced this himself, and what he was really writing comes from an experience of knowing. But thirdly, what I really like is that understanding of the complexity of the relationship of the soul and the body, and what divine presence is. And funny enough, today I was attending a leadership program, and all we were doing, actually, we were aligning ourselves to who we really are. And you can't do that unless you involve your body, because we can be heady about it. We can think great thoughts of leadership and how it should be and how I should appear and how I should think and what strategies I need to apply. But true essence of who we are involves the body. It's all our energy. So and the great example for this is that, you know, really charismatic people and real leaders, when they enter the room, they don't need to speak a lot. They don't need to say clever words. They just need to come with an energy, with that divine connection, with the divine presence that they have within themselves. It's like, I remember, you know, most good leaders, you know, you don't notice when they come in. You just notice the energy that they bring to the room. They haven't opened their mouth, but they brought an energy of leadership, of charisma, of connection to something that is more than just knowing how to speak. It's that inner capacity to really fill up the room with your presence. And I think this is exactly what Imam Al-Ghazali is talking about. He says that divine presence, and when we commit sins, and when our heart becomes dark and eroded with the sins that we have committed, that becomes a veil between being our best self, which is what the divine presence is, being our best self, and being acting for somebody or for a gain that sometimes we don't even know how to articulate. So that divine presence is within us, as we talked about, that the spirit of God has been breathed into us, but we put the veil by committing sins and moving away from the light and moving closer to the dark. So I find it fascinating that entire, you know, spiritual systems like mindfulness is based on this very idea, that our divine presence, which has been breathed into us, it can only be cultivated by continuously involving our energies, watching our feelings, where they come, where do they make us feel anxious, where do we feel lack of confidence, where do we feel out of alignment with ourselves. Because when we are out of alignment with ourselves, we are out of alignment with God. And the only way to fix it is to look at our good deeds, look at our light instead of looking at our dark. But at the same time, knowing that the dark is always going to be there, but we can manage it with our cognitive facility and cognitive ability to understand that dark is never going to disappear. Dark is always going to be part of our personality, part of our life. But the more we can work with it and you can accept that it's there, the more we can actually gear ourselves towards the light. And that beautiful metaphor is that, you know, a candle, when you put a candle in a room, this is how darkness disappears. It's not that you have to put something else. It's just you put the light, which will diffuse the dark. And I think that's really what this quote is about, and our mindfulness should be about. That I can only spread my light to other people, or to my family, or to my friends, or whatever I'm doing, whatever work I'm involved in, but not negating that I have dark sides. But once I go to the dark side, I'm only feeling the dark. So I need to stay on the side of light, because that's the only way I can counteract the dark. I don't know if that's enough for you, Ajmal, to think about for tonight. But I just thought this was a really quite meaningful passage for me today, and I'm very glad that
very, very beautifully done. Actually, the dark side and the bright side. It's like the fight between the good and the bad that's happening in our head, constant, all the time. We are conflicted by the battle between good and evil, and which wins. The answer lies in your investment. Whichever one you invest in is that which will win. If you invest in your dark side, that's going to dominate. If you invest in your good side, that's going to dominate. Did you?
Ultimately, it's about really people understand. But for me, what was most important is to understand that the dark is going to exist always as a human being. But if I focus on the light, I will not diminish the dark, but I will diffuse it. And I think that's really the key point here, is because we can never move away from our animal soul. We can never move away from the things that are, whispering in our head, like I should do this, I should do that. And I think really people of light are the people who get to the destination they want to get to. People of dark may win short term, but long term they never win.
That is very true, truly and wisely put. People of the dark never win. People of the light will always win. That's why Allah's light is equated with, or Allah's guidance is equated with light. Nurun ala nur, yahdillahu linurihi man yasha. Allah gives light to whom He likes, and that is light upon His own light. There is nothing more important than the power of light. I get the analogy in my head that if you're stuck in the middle of the darkness in the ocean and you're on a boat, you're desperately looking for a searchlight, and you're looking around for any light and you have no light whatsoever. One light is enough for you to make your direction, and it could be the wrong direction, but still it's a light, you hope. In the ancient times, the captains used to, those who were navigating the sea would depend on the star, and that's how they would move around. Subhanallah. Thank you. Very insightful. Okay, if there is nothing else, I've got the doctor waiting. Our doctor who is kindly joined us. Kindly, he's there. Let me invite him, and you can say salam to him if you like. Salam alaikum, Dr. Waseem.
Walaikum salam. How are you both?
Alhamdulillah.
Salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Very inspiring words, the both of you. I feel inspired. The lack of Taraweeh is getting to me, and spirituality, but it's nice to hear.
I can't give you a tablet or an injection, doctor.
No. But really appreciate it.
Henrietta, we're going to say goodbye to you, and I'm going to take.
See you soon. Salam alaikum. Walaikum salam.
Rahmatullah. Henrietta is gone, but she's going to be at the background, I'm sure, listening to our conversation. So, Dr. Waseem, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, alhamdulillah. Tell me, where are you located? Are you in Manchester, Birmingham, Bradford? Where are you?
No, I'm in Liverpool.
Oh, the heartland of the world. MashaAllah.
That's right. At least to me. You might find my background familiar. You spoke to my wife 2 days ago, Aisha, Dr. Aisha.
Oh, is that your wife? MashaAllah. I can't remember the background, but I still remember her. She was very kind. She gave us a lot of good tips and advice. Is that your little one speaking from the background?
That is my little one, Jay.
Alhamdulillah. It's okay. Even our Prime Minister gets the baby's crying. It's not.
That's all right. I've seen that clip on BBC where they were doing the interview and the young child walked in. So
yeah, you can have the child walking in. You can get the child to sit on your lap and say hello to us. We don't mind.
Oh no, she's gone now. My wife's
How old is she?
2 years old.
How many children do you have?
2, a boy and a girl, mashallah.
And 2, and what's the other one's age?
His name Hamza. He's 8 months old.
Oh, so it's a baby around.
Yeah, two young children.
Alhamdulillah. Allah bless you. You're a very young doctor then.
I don't know. I guess I'm average age doctor.
What? 30 years old?
No. Thank you for that compliment. 36. I've just turned 36.
Oh, alhamdulillah. You're doing very well, mashallah. Yeah. And what do you specialize in?
Dermatology, the skin.
And you're working in the hospital?
Working in hospital. Okay.
And is COVID-19 crisis overtaken your life such that you're no longer able to do what you were supposed to do, but you're attending emergencies?
Not at the moment. So my practice has changed now, but 3 weeks ago, I was working on the COVID ward. I think the NHS England anticipated that we would be swamped with a lot of patients with COVID. So a lot of doctors who are not in acute medicine were recruited to go into acute medicine. So I was working in the COVID ward at one of our big hospitals for 3 weeks. But at the moment, I'm back in dermatology. It's not back to clinics as normal, but we are telephoning patients. So COVID has meant that our practice has changed. We're no longer meeting patients face-to-face unless it's a rare emergency. But alhamdulillah, I'm back in dermatology now.
Oh, alhamdulillah. That sounds good. It's good to know that you're back to your comfort zone.
Yeah.
In Ramadan, why is it that we have such bad dry skin, eczema flaring up, itchiness everywhere, and you just feel like, oh, my skin is on fire?
It's important to be well hydrated. Your skin likes to be well hydrated, and in Ramadan, we're depriving ourselves of fluid for 16, 17 hours, and obviously that will have an effect on your skin. There are actually research studies that show that calorie restriction can improve your eczema and your psoriasis. But I think in Ramadan, a lot of people are concentrating on other things, and they tend to forget to moisturize their skin. But overall, you're right. Sometimes people can have dry skin, and that's because a dry skin reflects a dry system. So if we're not drinking, then our skin is going to reflect that, and our skin will be dry and more irritable.
Do you suggest that we do something about it while you are fasting, or is there nothing we can do?
No, you need to moisturize. If you moisturize, when you wake up and moisturize in the evening, just something simple, a simple lotion, even E45 will do. As a dermatologist, you shouldn't really recommend E45, but
you shouldn't.
Well, it's quite a mild lotion, but something is better than nothing. So it's always good to moisturize throughout the day, and you'll find, inshallah, if you moisturize just once or twice a day, your skin will be a lot better than it is if you are getting flares of your eczema.
Do you not think it's better to use something more natural, such as olive oil or almond oil on your skin than, or coconut oil instead of E45 with so much chemicals?
I mean, you can use coconut oil and you can use almond oil, but and that's something we used on our daughter when she was young. She had a bit of dry skin, but I'm a bit biased. I'm a dermatologist, and there are some creams that, dare I say, much better than coconut oil and almond oil. So they're called emulsifying ointments. An example is Hydromol, which we prescribe to all our patients, well, to most of our patients. It's a very thick cream, and it's very good at locking in the moisture in your skin. So if you were to ask me to recommend one product, I'd say Hydromol or White Soft Paraffin. They're very greasy moisturizers. Similar consistency to coconut oil, but it's just a lot thicker. And if you try it for a couple of days, you'll agree with me that your skin feels a lot better.
Okay, well, I prefer my olive oil.
Inshallah.
I'm through and through olive oil convert. I think I've been using it ever since I was a little boy, but not regularly enough. But alhamdulillah, very good. Okay, let's ask you a question. I'm a diabetic and my skin is dry and itchy. What should I do? Somebody has just asked me that question on the side, so I'm going to send it to you straight away.
So again, the key is just to moisturize. If it's dry and itchy because of your steroid, because of your eczema, then you need to put on your steroid ointments and your steroid creams. If you haven't got that, you can see your GP, but you need to put on some steroid creams. It'll calm the inflammation in your skin. And there actually has been research about compliance in Ramadan with topical therapy. So we know that in Ramadan, patients don't put on the creams and ointments as much as they should for whatever reason. I'm imagining during a normal Ramadan, people would be more concerned about ibadah, or they'd be too but you need to put on your creams and your ointments, and if you do that regularly, your skin will be good. You can in Tesco or Asda, you can buy preparations with sort of urea or uric acid, and that really helps with itching. So there's a preparation called Balneum Plus, and that has urea in. So anything with urea, even E45 anti-itch cream, that will help with the itch. But if you've got eczema and your eczema is flaring, then I would suggest topical steroids. And you can go to your GP and get some topical steroids, mild or moderate topical steroids for you to put on. And, inshallah, people don't realize, but if you put on topical steroids, if you moisturize your skin well for just a few days, it'll make the world of difference.
But taking steroid-based ointment, doesn't it make you become a little bit more dependent on the steroids instead of producing your own natural oil that your body is supposed to produce, so that it keeps your skin moist already?
The problem with conditions like eczema is that there's a genetic. So people who have eczema, they have a genetic defect. They can't produce a lot of the oils, and they have a defective skin barrier anyway. So a lot of our community, in the South Asian community, a lot of us have eczema, even if it's mild eczema. And there's a genetic tendency not to be able to, and have an intact barrier, skin barrier. I myself have eczema, and that means I get dry a lot easier than a lot more easier than someone who doesn't have eczema. And the reason to do that, and the reason to counter that, is by putting on, emulsifying ointments like I suggested. But we also need to calm down the inflammation with steroids. So I agree. It's not good to wash too often, but it is good to moisturize very often. And you're not replacing your natural oils if you put on steroids. You're just calming down the inflammation. So I would suggest just a short course. You won't become dependent if it's just a short course. When people talk about becoming dependent on steroids, it's normally if you use very strong steroids for long periods of times. I'm talking months. But if you just take a short course of topical steroids, mild to moderate topical steroids, for maybe a week or two, it'll make all the difference, and you won't have any negative side effects.
What about cirrhosis, which is another skin condition that it's a lifelong condition and it can flare up, pretty badly for some people, bleeding, etc. What do you suggest for that?
So psoriasis, alhamdulillah, there's a lot of treatments you can use, topical treatments, and again, it's all going back to your GP. And I think we in the South Asian community tend to avoid skin issues, but I think it's really important to see your GP, and if you need, get a referral to dermatologist. But psoriasis responds again very well to moisturizers, but again, there are certain products with steroids in them. So psoriasis again is inflammation of the skin, and inflammation responds very well to steroids. So people will respond very well to mild steroids. And there's other preparations. There's something called dithronol or coal tar. And if you don't like using steroids, you can use these preparations. They've got coal tar. The same coal. Like actual coal inside the ointments that you can put on your skin, and that calms your skin down, and that's very good for psoriasis as well.
Sorry, some people's psoriasis has been so bad. I've got a friend of mine whose psoriasis is so bad that it bleeds, clothes get stuck to it, and gets worse by the day. He has been trying all sorts, but it's not working. Any particular recommendation? And this is something that our people have a lot of problem with. So that's one question. I've got two more questions to ask, and then we'll finish, inshallah.
Sure. So it sounds like he's at the point where the topical treatments and the creams, the ointments aren't working for him. He would need to take a tablet. So psoriasis is sort of an overactivation of part of your immune system. And the way to get around that is to suppress that part of your immune system. So there are a lot of tablets. There are a lot of tablets you can take that will help psoriasis. And for that, he needs to be referred to a dermatologist. GPs can't start any of these medications. But there are some very effective treatments for psoriasis nowadays, especially in the last 3 or 4 years. I can't say cure, but we can almost cure psoriasis. So nobody should have to suffer with psoriasis, because it's a very easily treatable condition. So if you go to see your GP, he'll give you some tablet. If you go and see your GP and you explain how bad your psoriasis is, and from the sounds of it, if your clothes are sticking to your skin, it's very bad psoriasis. So you need to see a dermatologist. Your dermatologist will give you the option of a few tablet medications. One of them, in fact, you can take once a week. So very fasting friendly, some of them, and within 10 weeks normally, inshallah, his psoriasis will clear up. Hello?
Sorry about that. I muted myself when you were talking so that I didn't disturb you. I've unmuted myself now, so I can ask you. I have asthma. Can I have multivitamins A to Z for daily health?
I would defer to my GP and respiratory physicians for that. But yeah, there's no harm in taking multivitamins, and in fact, especially people of color, people of color community, going back to this COVID, there's a suggestion, and in fact more than a suggestion, that vitamin deficiencies are the reason why we are disproportionately affected, and that's the same with many other respiratory illnesses and respiratory diseases. So yes, certainly there's no harm, and in fact there's probably benefit in taking multivitamins for your asthma.
Wonderful. And the final question for tonight: my father is 80 years old and is diabetic, and on Novomix 30, having heat flushes or inside and scalp of head and slight chest pain. Any advice, please? I know you're a dermatologist, but you're a doctor, so you get all the questions.
If he's taking Novomix sort of during Ramadan, I again would talk to his GP, because in Ramadan, the suggestion is to switch, and if he's fasting, the suggestion is to switch to sort of longer acting insulin preparations. But did you say he's getting itching of his scalp?
Yes.
Again, there's a number of causes for itching of the scalp, and diabetics are, particularly prone to some of them. Some of them, like sort of seborrheic dermatitis, is particularly common in diabetic people. So he needs to go and see his GP or see a dermatologist and see what's causing the itching of his scalp. In most cases, it'll be a simple diagnosis and a topical preparation. So there are some steroid preparations or moisturizer preparations that the brother can massage into his scalp that can take away the inflammation. So again, my advice, which seems to be the advice I've been giving all evening, is to go and see your GP. But they're very easily treatable conditions.
Well, I could have said that myself.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. It's very reassuring to hear it from a doctor. And it's very, very important for people to listen to the doctors, because remember, in Islam, brothers and sisters, you have to tie your camel as well as making your dua. You have to do your bit and Allah will do his bit. You have to go and see a doctor, get medication. There's a very nice story of one of the companions who was suffering in temperature and fever and suffering at home. Prophet ﷺ came to see him and said, "What's the matter? Why are you at home?" He said, "I've been in temperature." Prophet ﷺ said, "Why haven't you sought any help?" He said, "Well, I've been relying on Allah and making dua." Prophet ﷺ said, "Well, I have told you to go and see a doctor first and then do dua." Ladies and gentlemen, even if it is herbal medication, even if it is medical medicine that you get from your doctor, that's the most important thing you can do. So do ask doctors your questions. Thank you, my dear brother, Dr. Waseem. Is it Ghumra or Ghumra?
Ghumra.
What's your ethnicity?
It's a strange story. I wish you had asked me that before, but it's an Indian surname.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Good. Well, welcome to our program. And I know you've been a fantastic supporter to Abdullah Quilliam Masjid,
Inshallah.
and you will continue to support it, inshallah. Please keep in mind, we want to purchase the next door building. We will be coming to your door very soon with request for massive checks so that we can do it, inshallah. Allah give you hayatan tayyibah, give you success in this world and the hereafter, and your family the same.
Jazakallah khair, and to you as well.
Give my salams to everybody. And again, salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Jazakallah khair, Dr. Waseem. That's amazing. Fantastic advice. What a great doctor and a great personality. We love doctors like that, mashallah. Thank you again to him. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to finish my program. May Allah bless you. May Allah give you the best of 27th night of Ramadan. See you very soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.